Hey, good morning, everybody. We'll get started here in a few minutes. Just give me a second while we adjust the screens and get ready. I hope everybody's doing good after yesterday's nice run up. I will tell you this, a lot of traders get sucked in very quickly after a big move up, but the biggest thing is just to let the market digest. So there's going to be two major alerts we're going to go over. And as I said, just give me a few minutes and we'll get started here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to be doing is looking at the ES futures. So again, before I start here, please watch the disclaimer at the bottom. Let me familiarize you with our screen. Everything we do is 100% transparent. You're going to see up here, these are my positions that I currently have on. Those are going to scroll across the screen. And then here on the screen on the left is your weekly. Okay, so always bigger picture first. And then because it's Tuesday, I'm going to go ahead and concentrate on the 4 hour. The methodology is the same. We're just looking at a shorter time frame here. And then over here we have our live alerts from Thinkorswim that are sent from my brokerage account into Discord within milliseconds, which is really cool. The way I look at these and way members can just look and read these are you have your ticker symbol here. It's going to say whether I trim, add, or close. And you can see here, here's an example of BAC yesterday, playing a little earnings play here. Adding in, and you can see prices. Okay, and then down here, this red means a close. Now, percentage gain is always going to be here or loss. It gives you the exact time and the date and the price that I sold for or bought. I also have another channel for my spread trades, butterflies, and so forth. Let's go ahead and get started. So ES Futures, this green box here, we keep it quite simple. Basically, we're long in equity, options, and so forth as long as the green box is holding. This blueprint here has been here for quite some time. I believe we've had it on for probably a good month and a half, if not close to 2 months. And you could see that we have moved nicely up into the red box as projected. So again, higher lows and higher highs out of here. We do have some formation and the 9 EMA on the weekly that is confluent with our inside and up formation. Also note that the yellow box is what I call a relief bounce. If for some reason the market decides to pull back a little bit more than expected, I would expect a bounce into this level. So this level, again, 3965 by around 3939. Okay. All right, let's get a little bit closer into today's action. We had a nice move yesterday, and you could see that move. This is the nice little rally here. That move is a little bit bigger than normal, and because of that, I would expect a little bit of digest. So this is basically how I would approach today's market. Again, the ES futures is my driver for the market. When we hit a red box, we tend to slow down, pump the brakes, and allocation is a tad bit smaller. Now, what I'm looking for, notice that I have my alert set at or around the high yesterday. So a digest, what will typically happen is on open, the futures will push up into crucial levels about right here, right before we make that higher high, and then we typically will back off. And notice that we're kind of building a flag here. All right, and so you need an alert here to let us know that they do and would intend on continuing the trend. Okay, and then I have alert right here at 4035. All right, and the reason why I'm using 4035, that's 618 of yesterday's rally. That's just basically a trend break of yesterday's rally. So anything between these two alerts is all noise. Okay, so typically we're going to see something after after European close. Okay, so market will probably, just kind of hang out into this consolidation phase. And again, over after the European close, we could see a move up over the highs. But if we get it before that, that's great. We want to see that we can hold that high. And what we'll be looking for is a quick move over, a pullback into what was resistance, and then we get that confirmation with support with those higher highs, and then from there, again, my expected move here is 4128.44. Now, whether or not that happens this week, we have no idea. Again, we could just digest here. Now, if for some reason we do trip this alert down here at 40.35, just to let everybody know, especially if anyone's out there that loves supply and demand, we have these areas down here where I would expect buyers to come in, or again around 40.31 by 40.21. Just remember that, okay? This is a trendy edge here. And again, let me go ahead and draw that for you to make it a little bit more simple. If for some reason we start to head down, my target is at or around this 40.35, and I would expect buyers to come in here towards the end of the day, and we would get this this sort of consolidation right into this inside and up and this inside and down. All right, so that's the projected move. Again, if we can't take out the high, I do believe we just digest here. Let's go ahead and move into the SPY. Now remember, a lot of people don't know this. The ES, for every 10 points, you're looking for $1 in the SPY. You really don't need to use a SPY chart. But here at Trendy Trading, we do push these out over the weekend. We have what's called the neutral strategy. It's really simple. We go long over the neutral into the targets. Okay, so you can see we gapped up. We were already holding options in SPY, and if you scroll over here, you're going to see that yesterday morning. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, you can see here we got stopped out on some. We made 84%. Right when the market opened, I also trimmed some of those SPYs, and you could see that up here as it says trim, and then we made 63% there. Now I want to show you something that's really important. Any of my lines above here, because we are blue sky breakout, I use Fibonacci extension and so forth, and you could see that price came very close to our extension target. Reason why I put in the stops, and then we pulled back, and what was my third target here at 404.90, we're just kind of coming back and trying to hold this level. Notice that the 4-hour 9 EMA is now confluent with my target. All right, so what I would like to see in SPY today is that we can hold 404.90 or this 9 EMA, even if we flush it, give it a little bit of time, look for that move back up, and then we can expect this, just like I was showing on the ES. You get that nice little flag in here, and again, can we take out yesterday's high? If we could take out yesterday's high, then we're looking for continuation in the SPY. If we break down, notice we have this little green arrow here. Again, I would be looking for support 402 area right in here. All right. All right, let's go ahead and move on. The next one we're going to be looking at is Apple. Really quick, a trade plan here would be if the market pulls back into that 404.90, then I'd be looking at an entry on a reclaim of 404.90, and then looking for targets up towards 406 and 407. Right now, it's just really tight range after yesterday's move up. Let's go ahead and take a look at Apple. All right, so Apple on the weekly. Let's cover the weekly first. And let's just auto zoom here. Sorry about that. And you can see same technique. We have a green box and a red box. The red box is where our final destination is, and that is around 133 and 138. So for swing traders, this is our target. And then over here on the right is going to be the 4-hour. All right, here are our targets. You can see we made it above 125.44. You can see also we have a pre-market high coming at or around 126. 60, probably 126.65. So same thing. You could draw a line here and see if we can make it over this level, and if so, continuation up into 128. I will tell you that short term, my target is 128.93 by 129. Now, I did have a stop down here or risk at 118.77. I am going to move that today. All right, and this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull this right up into my script, this green arrow. I'm going to look to the right and see what that price is, 123.94. And I'm just going to come just a tad underneath there, so around 123.72. And again, all my scripts are designed to find very important levels based off of Fibonacci, supply and demand, trendy levels, and so forth. And those are combined, and that's how we come up with these. That way we can find very quick setups. All right. So again, risk now is at or around 123.72. If you're not in this trade yet, just like the market, if we were to get some sort of pullback, it's still overall bullish. Please remember that. So I'm not really looking at shorting anything. If anything, I'm looking for reclaims of major levels. We get that major level, again, looking for those targets, 127.31, and then up here towards 129. Again, short term here, longer term here for a swing, 133.45. What's very important with the market right now is that we pay attention to earnings. Okay, so 428 after market. We still have about 22 days before earnings. It would make a lot of sense to me as we move up towards this red level that we would then stall right into earnings and kind of pull back maybe just a little bit, like 23.6% of this rally, which would put us right there at the trendy edge. Then your overall targets for your earnings are going to be very simple. You're basically moving up about 50% of this range, and you're going to see that Apple wants to either come down here for earnings, or it's going to move right up here towards the high. Okay, just like this. So this is going to be our range for earnings. So if you wanted to play some premium into earnings right before that week, you could be selling premium outside of these lines that I'm showing here. Okay. Again, naked directional though, I'm looking for 129 short term, 133, and my risk or stop for today is 123.72. If I'm not in yet and we pull back to 123.72, I like it on the reclaim. All right. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Next one is going to be FDX or FedEx. Again, weekly, and over here, the 4 hour. What's important is well, just to kind of talk about this trade, we took this trade, did very well, and you could see that we pushed from the green into the red. What happens when we get to the red? Right? We just slow down. You pump the brakes. It doesn't mean that the trend is broken. Notice that on FDX, we continue to make higher lows. Okay? And then we're making higher highs in here. Right now, we're just digesting this move, but note that the move itself, the digest period, is happening right at trendy levels. This is very normal. So basically, what I'm looking at, as long as this 281.30 holds, that's very bullish for this trend that we're in. All right. Now, my risk for right now is 277.75. I'm not in this trade at the moment. But what I'm looking at is a possible OCO. If you don't know how to do OCOs with options, you are missing out. It's the best thing ever. And when traders talk about beach trades, we really do beach trades here. So we show you how to set this up by using an entry, whether or not price is pulling back or moving up. And then we set a stop on it with a trailing stop, and then we already have targets where we want to get out, where the price will actually trim or close depending on how we set up the OCO into our targets. So it's a hands-off trade. It's an auto trade by using OCO. All right, very, very cool. So my OCO here, what I'm looking at is OCO equals 283.5 long. My stop is going to be 277.75, and my targets for right now, again, you can adjust these to your liking, but 289.14, it's a quick trade. You're looking at $6 to $7 to the upside, and if we break over that, obviously we'll be looking at dollar increments. A swing trade would look like the high around 305. Okay. Over here on the 4 hour, it's important to note that we are still in the cloud. Okay, so that means the trade itself is going to be a little bumpy. It also means on the OCO, listen up, on the OCO, I may not put the OCO in until about 30 minutes to an hour after open, because it could pop into my levels and then drop very quickly like this, and then I'll set my OCO once we get that pullback. That way I can get away from the screens. I don't have to do anything. And then later on in the day, if we get that move and it trips the OCO, then we get that nice move. Okay, so I don't want to get caught in the trade in the first 2 minutes. All right, so that's not how I'm going to trade FDX. All right, so again, we have our risk, my OCO, my targets 289 and 304, depending on what you're looking for, swing or weekly. All right, and then go ahead and take a look at the earnings just to be safe. It's not until 624. All right. Another way I could look at this trade is just selling premium outside of this 289 and then down here towards the 281. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to take a look at Microsoft. All right. All right, so here's Microsoft. I love these kind of trades. This is what I would call more of a momentum breakout trade. Basically, we're hanging out. You can see that we're flagging up towards this rally. This rally started a couple weeks ago. This is a nice cup formation, you know, a little bit of a pullback, and then we could see something like this. All right, so important on this type of trade, what I'm watching is over here on the 4-hour. All right, and I bet you from the rally itself, we're pretty close of holding about 20% of that move. All right, so I'm going to take this rally, which begins with this red candle here, and you could see that the 4-hour 9 EMA is holding the 23.6. This is very important, and we could teach you why here. All right, so as long as we're holding this 9 EMA here, this zone is what I would call a neutral. We're going to take the high and right around the 9 EMA, and we're just going to call this a neutral. All right, I typically would make this box yellow and say mellow in the yellow. All right, and as long as we're kind of hanging in here, then there's not much to do. I prefer to either buy low on the curve towards the bottom of that box or on the breakout. Just depends on you. Okay, if we break above 249.88, I'm looking for 252 and 255, and over here on the swing could see 262. Again, nice U-shape pullback, boom. My risk is 245, and just like the other trades that I was showing you, on a pullback, if for some reason within the first 30 minutes to an hour we pull back, don't fear that. That's not a big deal. Understand that the overall trend is up. So if we start breaking down, what I can do is I can set an OCO order to go long over this and just stay away from the screen. All right, no reason to watch every 5-minute candle. That's ridiculous. All right, so again, these are my targets. This is my risk. Very nice. Microsoft looking very bullish here. All right. All right, PayPal. Now I'm currently in PayPal. I started very small. I believe I bought a little bit of time with this. Give me 1 second while I look at it. Not too much time, about 10 days. All right, so not that big of a deal. What I'm looking for here is just now starting to round out. Also, notice the trendy edge. Again, we can't make our levels up. The proof is all right here on the screens. And you could see when price is above the trendy edge, we're looking for it to be support. Here's your proof of concept, okay? Now, notice that we are making higher lows from here. All right, so we're starting to do that rounding bottom look. All right, another thing I want to take into consideration is the earnings. We have earnings on 428. A lot of traders look for run-ups into earnings. Well, this is starting to confirm we may get that run-up. Higher lows, but we are not in higher highs. Important to note. Okay, so if we look closely, just like this, you can see this topping wick. It's right over my first target. All right, so if we could push into 254 on open, I would expect a little bit of a pullback, consolidation in the market, and then perhaps later in the day, if we could take out these previous highs, guess what? We've now made a higher high. The trend resumes up, okay, just like this, in a down range. My targets, 268 to 271, ultimately 284. My risk as of right now, 239.88. Notice here on the 4-hour, we're holding that 4-hour 9 EMA. Every time it comes down, it is showing support. Short-term support right now, we're looking at 250. Again, if we could take out yesterday's spike at 252.69, looking for 254.50. That's the smaller picture. All right, so that is PayPal. All right, let's go over here into Tesla. I took Tesla yesterday, but I did spreads. Tesla for the last 2 weeks on a Monday has looked really nice, and then it just kind of fades that big push up, which is really frustrating. So instead of me putting all my money into a naked directional, I am buying on the spread side. And the spread side, just basically what it does is limit me on my return. I can manage it and then get myself into nakeds, but for right now, it's spread, smaller position, and I'm looking for a move again into 740, 750 range. Now, we really need this resistance level in here, 680 by 685 to hold. All right, currently we're at 693. Bulls, what you need today is you're going to need to see a move just like the rest of the market. We need to get over right in here around the 708, 709 area, and then I think we're looking good towards 717. The issue yesterday, anytime any of these stocks move into my targets on open, then they are opening into resistance. So very important to note that. All right, this is the reason why I bought a spread. All right, and that is Tesla. Again, you can see over here on the left, this is also what we call a rounding bottom. And just like I was showing you on PayPal, notice that these right here, I'm not going to count this wick here, but these right here, getting very close to there. And then once we build out a little bit of action in here, I believe we could break out into those targets that I spoke of 740. All right, so we still have 4 days for this to work for us. All right. All right, let's go ahead and go over Amazon as well. All right, so Amazon, we made a little bit of money yesterday. I just want to show you, I love showing proof of concept because we pushed these charts out way before the trade. All right, and so it makes it a lot easier when doing this. And a lot of traders, they still don't know how to do this. It's very interesting to watch traders who have been running services for 15, 20 years and they don't know how to give you targets. That's a true sign for me that you really don't understand what's going on with the formations. And it's good to have targets. If you don't have a target, then you don't really have a plan. And what happens is when price is going up, you get very euphoric and you forget what's happening. Right? It's like blacking out at a craps table or something. You know, you're up so much, but 2 hours later you walk away with nothing. So you have to have a goal. That's why we always work with stops, targets, and entries. So notice yesterday on Amazon, we pushed right into the T1 that I gave my team. And because we pushed into T1, I went ahead and closed yesterday. All right. It might not have been a big gain, but you can see here, money is money, you know. So I made a couple $100 here off just one contract, and then several contracts. You add that up and you could see it's not bad. All right. So what are we looking for today? Well, that T1 was resistance. Does it turn into support? Basically, you have your risk down here at 31.85. It needs to be wider than a Microsoft, a PayPal, a Square, Apple. This thing moves in chunks. All right. So you can't sit up here with a tight stop. It needs to be a little bit wider. And when you do wider stops, you just go smaller on the delta of the option. Right. And so give yourself some room. And what I'd like to see is that this resistance at some point becomes support. Boom. You can take this once we start running, place your stops a little bit underneath the formation here, and then look for T2. Okay. So again, big level for today, 32. You can round it up, 32.33. Look for 30 minutes to an hour at least to hold here, maybe even into European close. Risk 31.85 and a quarter. If for some reason it starts to move up very quickly, those risks can be pushed up underneath that 32.33 to lock in gains. Again, I am out of this trade, and as of right now, I'll be watching exactly what I just told you. All right, next one. Let's go ahead and look at Netflix. All right, so Netflix also made a little bit of money in this. I put in stops on my options. There was a little bit of slippage, so I didn't make as much as I wanted to on this trade, but it worked very quickly for us. All right, so quick that some traders were not able to get in fast enough, but it did well. All right, so what I'm looking at today is over here on the weekly, you can see that we have resistance at the trendy edge. Again, proof of concept, you can see this is where we would look to lay off the trade. And then today, we want to see it break, and as you can see, it is breaking. There's a thing called personality with stocks, and Netflix has a really nasty personality. Okay, it tends to open up with a wide range candle and then it pulls in and flushes traders out, but it tends to keep the trend. So when I look at things like that, I think smaller allocation, wider stop. Right now, your resistance comes in at around 549. Support levels coming in right around this 9 EMA and this formation, so around 540. Okay, I'd like to see it break 543 and a quarter and hold 30 minutes to an hour after open, not right on open. Okay, I want to give it a little bit of time. All right, and again, my targets 547, 549, and then for the swing trade, 560. If for some reason, just like everything else I've shown you, we decide to flush back, okay, this is actually a bonus, in my opinion. We could come into this level, watch for the reclaim, and then I'm buying these targets, okay? It's nicer to buy calls when the market's pulling back into levels, and it's great to take a trade on the short side when the market is pushing up into levels. Everybody, good luck out there. If you like the content, please give us a like and a retweet. Check us out at trendytrading.co. We do have a great special for our trial period. It's very inexpensive. You get a lot of content. You learn a lot while you're here just during that week. You know, especially depending on how long you've been in the market, it's a lot of things you could pick up on. Over the weekend, we're doing things such as the broad market analysis, which includes about 12 charts with actionable plans, entries, stops, and targets. All right, then we're giving you trade plans on top of that, which is insane. This is all before the market even opens on the weekend. And then we followed up with a video to give you our sentiment and to talk about those trades and give you a little bit more of insight so that you can be a little bit more confident. The overall goal here, though, is to actually teach you how to set up these trades without having to rely on somebody. All right. And then we have a community of professional traders. We try to keep it, you know, pretty quiet. I don't like FOMO, don't like a lot of noise. We like to all kind of stay on track. We're here to make money, but also have a little bit of fun. And in the meantime, you know, it's all about education. If you are interested, check us out. We'll see you soon.